I get my fiance one of those. I don't know why she doesn't already own one. That's crazy.
They make shorts too. The whole
Giving me
outfit.
ideas, Barb. Giving me ideas.
Uh-huh.
Oh, hold on. All right, there we're back. Sorry, I think it bugged out there for a second. As always, I'm just enamored by your collection there in the background.
I know, and I was trying to figure out which direction to go to because the entire room is covered. I mean, I can give you like a little tour. It just keeps going and going and going.
That's so impressive.
It's
I mean,
insane.
I'm always blown away. Insane is a word. Insane is a
And
word. I mean,
then we
it's
got
also.
Ross over there.
I don't know about that. We can pan the other way. That's fine. That's whatever. It's neither
How
here
you
nor there.
been?
I've been all right. I've been all right. Just been running around like crazy as per usual. And then we're actually jetting off tomorrow to Utah for a wedding.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, looking
Who's
forward
getting
to that.
married?
One of my fiance's close friends, they're getting married. Which I won't lie, I'm pretty stoked that it's not one of my friends because I've had a few of those, and you always have some responsibilities, and this one you just get to
Chill
enjoy
out and have
yourself.
a good time.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I've really come to like being the plus one more than like it being my group of people because I'm just like I'm just here for the ride. I can't really mess
Right.
anything up.
Oh,
So
dude, I used to always go to weddings with my best friends. That was the best way to do
yep,
it. My
yeah,
plus.
exactly. Yeah. Oh, it's a breeze then again because like at that point there's no stakes for you involved. You're just there. It's lovely. Maybe you meet somebody. It's
Right.
just fun.
All right, cool. So, really quick question. I have been
Hmm.
dying to ask you this, but I never knew the right time. And if you don't want to answer it, you don't have to.
We're gonna find out if it's the right time.
Okay. Where did your name originate from?
Oh my god, it's not the right time, Barb. I can't. I
Okay,
can't.
then that's okay.
No. It's a great question.
Well,
So
I
it
was going
is.
to ask you on the podcast, and I was going to ask you at camp, and I'm like, I don't know.
Oh no! What world was I gonna be like? No, absolutely not. That's a guarded secret. No. It's a Swedish name. I guess like you would normally meet like Theodors or Theos. In my case, it is truly just Teo. Teo. That is it. Basically, my dad wanted like a super Swedish name, and
Okay.
so I weirdly actually, and the craziest part of all this is none of this is on one single legal document, but my full name with all the middle names from different documents would be Teo Anton Oka Torvald Ragnar Rapp-Olsen.
Can you say
Uh,
that 10 times fast?
Teo Anton Oka Torvald Ragnar Rapp-Olsen. um, I'm sure there's
Wow.
like first of his name, King of Dragons, or something in there. But yeah, for some reason, he wanted, and so he wanted all four of those at some point to be the first name. And my mom vetoed all. Like Oka has a letter that doesn't exist in English. It's like an A with a ring over it. So it would be like Ake in English. It would be like AKE, which would not sound too good. Uh, Rungnar, I just feel like you got to be 6'5" at the smallest and like have a massive red beard to walk
Right.
in a room like I am Rungnar. Like I don't think I pull off Rungnar real well. I think you're gonna be a little disappointed when I walk
No.
in. Anton, I could totally see, but Torvald again is a little. I don't know. It's like I feel like you got to be like. I mean, that's like an Ibsen play. Like you got to be really dark and sad and moody. Like I'd only ever be able to
Right.
like look out windows in the winter time if my name was Torvald. So I think they went with the right choice. Teo is a good one.
And
Her
then the
other
rat.
Yeah, so that's sweet indecisive parents who didn't want to choose between the last names. So mom is Rapp, dad is Olsen. Put them
Okay.
together. Which look, it's lovely, except that then that just passes the buck on to me when I have kids of like what I do with them because I'm not going to like add a third name. So
You,
that's
you
gonna
have
be.
names picked out?
We've dabbled, we've discussed potential names, but that also then gets into the political fight of like, okay, what sounds better with what name?
Right.
And when you have so many playing in the midst, it's a doozy of a game.
Wow.
But yeah, so we got our work cut out for us. The other reason my mom chose Teo is she thought I wouldn't get made fun of with a name like Teo. I don't know why she didn't think of the fact that everybody was going to sing
I
Teo.
was
You
gonna
say
say.
Teo. Yeah, of course. Which like I've grown to like a lot, but like as a kid, I was like, stop it, that's not my name. So yeah, I don't think her plan worked out too well.
Now, do you have siblings?
I do. I have a half sister, but we're exceedingly close. She's 8 years older than me. And so in some ways, she's almost like kind of like a pseudo guardian as well, because she was just like such a big part of raising me.
Do you have a
My
unique name too?
Sorry.
Does she have a unique name too?
She does. Her name is Mira, but it is short for Mireille, which is French. And in my case, I would just always call her Merly because that's phonetically how it would be spelled in English. So I called her Merly a lot. I don't know if she liked that or not, but either way, we're still very, very close. And she's the reason I'm every now and then you might see an update on Instagram of me with two little girls. Those are my nieces. So I'm obviously very, very fond of the two of them. And yeah, it was actually just earlier last month, my second niece's first birthday, Eloise. So that was a lot of fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you have anything you can talk about upcoming in your life going on?
There is one. I assume we're talking the biz, the shop.
Absolutely.
There is one uh, game that I was very lucky to be a part of. Unfortunately, I cannot say more at this time about it.
Okay.
But needless to say, there will be updates. But it was very much a bucket list experience for me personally on a few fronts. One was just that you got to do this. I can't say it was motion capture where you wear like the tight spandex and look ridiculous. And I was playing a being that does not look anything like myself, so I got to really play around and look dumb. Somebody got a video of me walking around, and it's pretty great. At some point, I'm sure that will see the light of day.
I would love to see that.
Oh, believe me, I'm not above embarrassing myself, so there's
You
footage
know,
of.
if you ever do get your fiance one of these, you'd have to walk in with it on first.
Yeah, that's valid. That's valid. Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I do actually. Hold on, just for you, I'll give you the treat. We do have this, which is already a little ridiculous in the house.
Oh yeah. Oh no.
That was from a Bud Light ad that I did.
Okay.
That was like right during the pandemic, and they were doing that like cardboard cutouts at the football games, and they did a whole Bud Light ad that had those. And so there was a truly like a truck of like 100 of those, all of me, because the whole ad was like this cardboard cutout like traveling back to the original version of himself. And they were just destroying these like like 10 a day as they were shooting this commercial. And so at the end of it, I was like, I can keep one of these, right? And they're like, I mean, yeah, it'd be weird if you didn't take one.
Now I need one to put next to Ross.
I'm just saying, it does exist. I mean, just putting it out there.
Personalize them too, so we can get them made.
All right, cool. Good. That's what was funny though was I got to set, and like in the thing, I'm also wearing the same outfit, and the like crew had been shooting this for about a week, and I had not been there because they just needed my cardboard cutout. And so I get there, and everyone is staring at me. And at first I was like, what's the deal? And I was like, oh, right. You've been looking at an inanimate me for like a week. And then I suddenly am here in the flesh. And I was apparently at one point talking, or I was like listening to somebody and wasn't moving as a PA girl walked by. And then I was like, yeah. And she just like jumped because she was like, I thought you were a cardboard cutout, but you're an actual person.
Sometimes this thing scares me. It scares the hell out of maintenance when they come over.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
What the hell?
Cool. Yeah, normal stuff. Like, you're a little bit of a fan, right? Just a little.
Just a little bit.
Can
you tell behind me? So you also are doing like online acting classes too, right?
Doing acting classes, yeah. So I've been doing those. Those have been in person in New York, but that was always something I had like kind of did on the side just for fun with like friends, was coaching acting, and just kind of found that when I'm not acting myself, I derive a lot of the same pleasure when I am working with another actor, and that note that I give them clicks, and they give the performance that we then go like, okay, that's the take. Just means a lot to me, and so wanted to just kind of make that a more consistent part of my life. So I guess it was in March I rented out a studio space and truly charged the minimum amount I could charge to just cover the price of renting the studio space. Found 10 students and was saying to them, ostensibly, this is my first time teaching this, like, not just like one-on-one with a friend or anything like that, but actually trying to make a class out of this. So I am not taking any more money from you than is enough just to cover this, because at the end of the day, I'm learning from this as well.
Right.
It was a 4-week class. Basically, the first week is just a seminar as to like my philosophy of on-camera acting and in general storytelling. So like I go into a lot of 3-act structure, which is the basis of almost every story that we consume, and just kind of explain why it's important to understand where we are and what our job as an actor is to help tell this story. Because, yeah, as I said, I mean, it's there's something about that structure that is innate. So like
Mhm.
the oldest recorded story is the Epic of Gilgamesh, and that's like 4,000 years old, and it's in 3-act structure. Like something about this we just clearly cling to, and so run through storytelling and then on camera, and then the next 3 weeks is just them going up and doing scenes and getting to get a better understanding of on camera acting, because a lot of the students I work with are in the theater world or musical theater or even actually stand up comedy
Okay.
and want to get more training for on camera acting. And so just slowly but surely kind of breaking them into that. And so now I've done that several times and then started actually teaching at NYU off and on, which has been really, really cool, especially, going back to the same school I went to.
Right.
Although it was a little weird when I'm sitting there being like, I am 10 years older than all of you. This is wild.
Right.
Definitely makes you feel old pretty quickly when you're looking at college students. But it was very gratifying to, see where you started and give back to that, and, have these students ask these questions that were, again, just things that like you don't even think about anymore. It's
Right.
just you've been doing it long enough that it doesn't come up, and then somebody asks you that question, you're like, oh right, that's a great question.
Mhm.
I obviously had to learn that too at some point, so it's cool to turn around now and help you with that
Right.
information.
That's
But yeah,
awesome.
it's been really gratifying.
Cool. Yeah, and speaking of helping others, I was on a cruise
Hmm.
when they were doing this whole charity auction thing.
Hmm.
So I want to thank my co-host Carol for doing this, and I want to thank you for doing this. So this is pretty, I know you love to give back, and that's pretty awesome.
I
So
mean, I know I just sound like a broken record with this stuff, but this is such a cool community, and
mhm,
it's not every day as an actor that you get to become a part of one like that,
right,
and especially one that is as caring and giving. I mean, that really blew me away. It's just like the amount of times that people look out for each other, charities both for really sweet causes, or also, I mean, looking out for people within the community itself at times when others are, in need,
right,
is really something amazing. And so, whenever somebody like David reaches out and just says like, hey, we're doing this thing, it's the easiest thing in the world to go, cool, what can I do? Let me know. I'm game, and again, to all of you guys who participate in it too and help keep this going is truly really really special, because it would be so easy to, you know meet each other once a year and that's it, and
yeah,
there's nothing else to it. But for almost all the events that I've ever seen or participated in, somehow there's normally some amount of giving, is
hmm,
really really special, and speaks so highly of the community and the fan base.
right. I was so glad they had my back while I was on the cruise because I don't do the whole internet thing or anything when I'm on there. So
I mean, that sounds great.
when I came home to this, I was like, what? Oh my god, that's so cool.
Oh, that's
Teo,
amazing.
of course, sure.
You're like, why not?
Why
Why not?
not?
It's always a good time to have a gab with him.
So
Uh,
I can't let it go without saying one of Dawn's questions she's been asking on the podcast
love
lately.
it.
Ready for this one?
Yes.
So she always asks, which I love this question: if
Mhm.
you can bring another actor or actress from another TV show or movie to join you inside The Walking Dead, who would you choose to be with?
Another TV show or movie, and like in my part of the universe, Sebastian Milton, and
Yep.
oof,
Yeah, that's a
oof.
good question, right?
Um, and are we talking like the actor or a character that actor has played?
The character.
The
Yep.
character.
Yep.
Okay.
Like we've gotten John Ritter, like Jack Tripper, we've gotten Pee Wee Herman, we've gotten those answers.
Oh man. For a second, I want to think because there's one that comes to mind, but I want to keep thinking for one moment. There's either like who I think I would like get along with as Sebastian, or there's um who would just like annoy the ever loving crap out of Sebastian. Um, I think all right. Here's my two. I'm gonna go with two. Can I get two?
Yeah, of course you can.
So in terms of like would literally lose his mind, would try to have him killed within like 14 seconds of meeting him. The dude from The Big Lebowski, I think
Okay.
would be a fun like antithesis to Sebastian. If it was on the same side, and this was actually a character that I took a lot of inspiration from when preparing for the role, is Gustav Graves, who is the bad guy in James Bond's Die Another Day,
Yep.
which is probably most people can agree not actually an amazing movie, but I was like the prime age when that came out. I had it on DVD. And there's something about his performance that I was obsessed with as a kid.
That's
And
great.
so, yeah, when I got this part, I pretty quickly went back and rewatched that. I was like, yeah, this is pretty tight. So I think Sebastian would really get along with Gustav Graves.
I love that question.
That's a great question. I love that.
I
Also,
love
how's the pod going?
It's great. We've been doing our favorite episodes every Monday night. We've been having a lot of guests. I mean, a lot of guests, and we always want you to come back whenever you can.
Always
Love to have you back.
a pleasure to
But
be there.
we've been very blessed. I mean, the girls are working very hard. I'm not very tech savvy, so I have to give it to them on getting all the guests on. And
That's so awesome though. I love
it's
that.
big, pretty big. So we're having a good time with it. And we also talking about Dawn's question. We do on our Facebook page games for people. So I do a lot of caption this stuff. And my newest thing was what character. Like I would put Rick Grimes up there, and I'll say, who from another TV show or movie would you team up with that person? And it's been pretty funny.
Oh, I'm sure some people come up with
I'll
some.
put yours on tomorrow and see what we get. I'm serious when I have to do that.
All right, yeah, please do. Let me know. I want to know what people end up going with on that one.
So how about you be the interview? You have any questions for me?
Oh my gosh, that's jeez, throwing me on spots here.
Absolutely.
Well, what was the impetus, or what made y'all think like we should make our own podcast and really get going in that same universe?
Dawn was on a previous podcast, and it's something that she always wanted to continue doing and grow big and further.
Yeah.
So her and I had talked about it for a while, and then we inducted Carol and Eliza along with us. So it was her dream that came true, and each one of them worked so hard to make everything happen. So it started off to be Dawn's dream, and
that's
here
really cool. I mean,
and
again, a lot of people
you already know we all became friends because of The Walking Dead, so.
Which again, yeah, that's so awesome. I actually follow up was there ever a show prior to The Walking Dead that you had this much passion for?
I did. And I know the girls do. They all have their own. I mean, I know like Dawn's into like crime and stuff like that, but mine was Little House on the Prairie.
That's so much like Walking Dead. That's crazy. Like,
well, it's so funny because they did ask me. It was my idea to do ask each other questions, the girls, and mine was immediate. They like, if you had one show to watch, which would it be if you chose between The Walking Dead and Little House on the Prairie? I was like, oh, Little House on the Prairie. My all-time favorite. Yeah.
That's hilarious. Do you like still check out episodes of that?
Oh, it runs 24/7 along with The Walking Dead. And I'm always watching The Walking Dead because I'm pulling up games for the groups that we're doing for the Facebook. Yeah. I mean, I grew up watching a lot of cop shows with my dad.
Yeah.
So I watched like Chips and Vegas, and he loves Star Trek. So we did Star Trek, a lot of Westerns.
Yeah.
My mother was into those half-an-hour comedy shows like Mama's Family. Three's Company was another favorite. Yeah. Old school.
I mean, yeah, but like that's a really cool era of television. I feel like that's still part of a prime period where like people really sat around the couch and like watched these things.
Right.
In a way that like, now, for better and for worse, there's so much content out there, but there's less of the like unless you really seek it out, there's less of the community aspect of like we all watched that episode last night. You know what I mean?
Have you ever? I'm sure you have, but you've seen Little House on the Prairie?
I've seen little bits of it. I mean, I can't. I can't say I couldn't list you the cast right now.
Okay. I was
But
lucky enough to meet some of them, so that was cool.
that's really cool. That's really
Yeah.
really cool. Um, yeah, I don't. I mean, the one that like was my show as growing up, and I feel like tells you a lot about me was The Simpsons. I
Oh my
was
god.
obsessed with The Simpsons, and I don't know if it
Other
was
than
like
cartoon.
sorry,
Other than cartoon.
other like another show, but other than
Yeah.
cartoon is what you're asking. Ooh, I'm trying to think of like what age. So I mean, the next like thing that is it's films. So I do caveat that it's not TV, but Star Wars.
Okay.
Was absolutely obsessed with that. So I don't know why we never owned them because all I ever wanted to do was watch like A New Hope. But we
Mhm.
would go to the New York Public Library, and I think maybe it was like a strategic point that my mom would make me read some book, which I hated to do, and then we could borrow Star Wars on VHS from the New York Public Library, which I'm sure I was like for whatever reason nobody else knew it was there because I would borrow it every weekend, and just watch it again and again and again. But obviously, then was like a prime age when the prequels came out.
Mhm.
And just devoured that. And yeah, I mean it's an unholy amount of times I've probably watched Star Wars in general. In terms of other TV shows, though, I mean, so I would just say for the sheer like community aspect of it, Breaking Bad was really important to me because it was like finishing up when I was in college, and it was that kind of show where we like a huge group of us were all in school together, but like we would always be like, "Oh my god, did you watch last night?" No, all right, we're not talking about it yet. So it was like people were watching in real time, which I thought was really amazing because I think like Netflix really has changed that game in a lot of ways, where it's a lot more just release the whole thing, or because we've gotten that experience, a lot of people purposely wait and don't want to watch it until they can just consume the whole thing. Um,
Right.
which is like I get it. It's so much more convenient, but there is something lost in the like you know once a week you gotta wait, which like was
Mhm.
cool, being part of Walking Dead and seeing those updates online as people were watching it in real time versus if we just released the whole thing at once and
Yeah.
that was that. You know what I mean?
This Walking Dead community, though, it's nothing. I mean, I could say I love Little House on the Prairie, but there's nothing like this community, and you already know that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just from a show. I mean, I've gone to a couple of events with Little House on the Prairie, which is pretty cool,
Oh,
but nothing.
that's super cool that they're
Yeah,
doing that.
went on a Little House on the Prairie cruise. The one that played Nellie came to Tennessee, and she did a comedy stand-up show. I've been to a couple of events with them, so it's pretty cool, but nothing compares. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
that
No, I mean
was a
again.
good question.
No, I was very
I
very
didn't put you
curious.
on the spot.
No, I mean it's the level to the fandom is always so impressive and cool to me. Um, and yeah, I mean, I can only imagine that, like, you have to already have some kind of reverence for stories and, movies and TV shows, and
Right,
even, before Walking Dead.
right.
What is it about Walking Dead do you think that captured you so much?
I remember my friends telling me to watch it. And I was like, I don't want to watch a show about zombies.
Yeah.
And I came out of surgery and I was on the couch and it was on Netflix. I'm like, all right, I'm going to check it out.
Yeah.
And I think you've watched it from the beginning, correct? Okay, so I was hooked when Rick pulled down the visor and we knew that was his family. So I knew it wasn't just about zombies.
Yeah.
The acting, the storylines that pulled you in, the writing was amazing.
Yeah.
And of course, me and Carol will talk about the grotesque of it. More blood and guts, the better. And I don't know, somehow I found out they were filming in Georgia and I went, and that's when I started meeting people.
Oh,
So I went
cool.
to see the locations and stuff.
Yeah.
But like I said, I think it was mainly the acting and that drama of the storyline behind it that just
Yeah.
pulled. I knew I was hooked when he pulled down that visor. I'm like, okay, it's
Yeah.
not
I'm
just
here for this.
and the survival and how to survive. If we ever get stuck in a zombie apocalypse or any kind of that, we know
You
what to
already
do.
know.
So I think
Yeah.
that's
I
what.
mean, that, no, that totally makes sense. Because, yeah, I mean, like, I watched it the first episode in college, and I didn't really at that point really like anything spooky, and certainly had no interest in zombies. And a friend showed me the first episode, and similarly, I was like utterly hooked. Like I went out and like, I mean, I destroyed that season, and then uh, like listened to the book World War Z,
Okay.
and just like, I mean, was totally hooked into like the zombie thing after that. But what I think just they always did so well in Walking Dead is like, as you said, it was like it's survival. It's not just like, oh, like how do we get out of the mall and then we're in the safe zone. It's like, no, there's no safe zone. This isn't like you've already gotten out of the mall. It's now 3 months later. What's life look like? You
Right.
know, that I thought was
Is
like,
there is there a particular scene in the first season that, like I said, like that got you? You knew you were hooked.
um, there's the conversation he has with Morgan about like Morgan's wife and her like walking around in the town and her like going up to the door
Yeah.
that I know they kind of brush away from with zombies for a while, and now they were kind of bringing it back, but like that really just got me of like the human nature of it all, and
Okay.
like him just incapable of taking the shot. I think really, and honestly though, like even just the opening with the little girl and him shooting her, and but just being like, all right, you've already set the tone. Like this is the kind of show, nobody is safe. Like we've just already we've killed the little girl, nobody is safe. Is like such a statement piece. Um, just like already to enter that show. And then I don't know why, but something that always stuck in my head was there's this one shot when Rick is under the tank, like in Atlanta, and he like
Yep.
looks both ways, and he like then looks up, and you think he's just like praying or something, and then just like goes right up into the tank. And there was something about that. It was just so, I mean, you're just so overwhelmed sensorially, and then like you're like, how, there's no way you're getting out of this, and then like rises into the heavens of a tank.
He was ready to shoot himself under there.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, he's fully prepped. That's like
There was
it's
twice
way
that he
better.
tried to almost
Yeah,
do that.
yeah, way better to just kill yourself than to be devoured by zombies.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean that first episode in that first season are just unbelievable.
I
Like
know.
in terms of just like setting a tone for a show and like what it's gonna be like, they just
Mhm.
did such. I mean, and you can see, it's like it was such an easy roadmap for the rest of the show for them to go like, okay, this is like the style. Like a lot of shows are still figuring themselves out in a lot of ways in
Mhm.
that first season, and I feel like they knew what they were doing from like episode one,
Yeah.
which especially with like a cast where like a lot of those people were, like that was their first big project,
Right.
and it was a fairly like untested crew, and they just all showed up to play, which is
When
just
I sat on that couch and I started watching, I was like, okay, I should have started this a long time ago.
no, it's always any time is a good time to get into
Yeah.
it. It's a fun
We
one.
did we picked our favorite episodes, and Dawn did Nebraska, which is where Rick's first kill, he kills the two guys in the bar.
You're
And it was
right.
a whole scene with Herschel, and that one was a great episode. Mine next week is Rick's last episode. Because all
Oh,
those flashbacks,
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
that's crazy. But yeah.
Wow, that's so cool. Yeah.
Uh, any ideas on camp that you coming back, or you don't know? Yeah.
Anytime they'll have me, I'm
Okay.
always game. I
We'll
mean,
have to
again,
harass them.
oh, harass away, harass away. I'll always take a trip to Georgia, because I mean, again, it's like it's the family aspect of by now just like getting to see everybody. But it's also like, I mean, Georgia in general just holds such a special place in my heart.
Mhm.
But like anytime we can get into uh into Sonoya for like a little bit is always just there's like so many memories. I mean, I was so fortunate enough to live like in Alexandria when I was shooting for a large chunk of it.
Cool.
And so just like walk around that area was such a like surreal time in my life. It was living in the walled off community. It was relatively not that many houses with people in them.
Right.
And, I'm born and raised in New York. I live in apartments, and all of a sudden I have a like
Yeah.
3-bedroom house, but I
I was
forget if
gonna say house of the brownstone.
it was a house. It was a
Okay.
house. Yeah. I think somebody told me at one point that they thought it was like Carol or Rick's house at one point.
So you were out north, like where the dead end was.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay.
And so the weird thing, I forget if I've told you this, but is clearly like when they were transferring these over to be like lived in by people who are, in whatever way working on the show, they had somebody clearly go to like a West Elm and buy like one set of like one bedroom and one kitchen and one living room, and like that was it. But like you had still like three or four more rooms in this house that were just unfurnished, nothing in them. There was like a sign that said like "Don't go upstairs." Um, I obviously went upstairs one time just to see what was up there, but like it was just such a bizarre living space because it's like a huge house, completely empty, other than these things. And I mean, the first night I was like, "This is terrifying. This is so scary." Like just being in a massive house by yourself. And I think it was like so scary that it like came full circle and was no longer that scary.
Right.
Because I remember like being on Zoom with my fiance, and she's a scaredy cat. And I'd be sitting in the living room and there's like a stairwell behind me, and I just always be like, "Could you just imagine if like a little girl came crawling down there? And like, stop!" And I was like, "It'd be crazy." And she's like, "Don't scare me like that." I'm like, "You're not even here. Like, you don't have to deal with it. I would be the one who has to deal with that. It's not your problem." But yeah, I don't know.
Did she ever see the show?
So she had never seen it, and she was like, "I'm gonna watch it because oh my god, you're in it." And I was like, I don't think you're gonna like it." And she's texting me, "Is like, okay, I'm starting right now." And like 2 minutes later, she goes, "I had to stop when he shot a little girl." I was like, "All right, it's not gonna get better."
Oh my god, that's funny.
Yeah, no,
So no horror movies for her.
well, so it's weird. Like she loves vampires, which again is like, I mean, there's a lot of horror. So like we just saw Nosferatu together.
Mhm.
And so there's like certain things she can handle, and like a lot of cerebral, I feel like she's fine with. Like we watched The Exorcist or The Shining, um, where it's like slower burns, there's not much pop out, that she can handle. But yeah, the second you do like a pop out thing, she's out. She's done.
She's got to see Chucky.
I don't know if I can put her through that.
I love Chucky.
I mean, I was terrified of scary stuff. And I had a friend who I don't know how they successfully convinced me to do this, but we went and saw Hereditary in movie theaters, which I don't know
Mhm.
if you've seen that one.
Mhm. I heard of
That
it.
is, I honestly to this day nothing has been scarier than it, and I think that's why like anytime I like now I enjoy scary movies, but I'm always like, yeah, I mean it was scary, but like Hereditary is still just
Now I'm gonna have to watch it.
it's really good. It is very messed up.
I haven't seen a scary movie yet. If that tells you anything about what I like,
Wait, what?
I have not seen a scary movie yet. If that tells you anything, I've watched so many movies and I love them.
Oh, you mean like
I
you?
love horror.
Oh, all right, gotcha. All
I've
right,
never. Everybody's always asked me what movie has ever scared you, and I'm like, I don't think I've ever had a movie scare
really?
me.
All right,
What was
watch Hereditary and let me know.
Then we found out there was when I was little, I think Carol, I think it was called Final Terror. It was this little monkey doll. It's like little
Mhm.
Indian looking monkey doll. It scared the crap out of me when I was a kid, but that was about it. But yeah, I'm gonna have to watch that now for sure.
Yeah, please let me know because that one, hooey, that was a scary one. It was that, and then way back when this was when I was still like terrified of scary things. I'm trying to remember what it was even called. I don't know, it was a carnival or something, but like it was some like dumb scary movie, like not low budget, but like mid budget, I guess. Um, and there was like this whole like conceit where the girl is like trying to go into the house to rescue, I think it's her boyfriend who obviously is already dead. Um, and this like very weird, guy who's like clearly like not mentally all there is kind of helping her, and he has like got this high pitched voice, and they go into this room, and she has to like try to like figure out like they think like something's under the bed, and she looks under the bed, and something about under the bed realizes based on his shoes that he's actually the murderer, and she
Oh
like
no.
sits back up, and he's just like ah! And I was terrified of beds and what could be under them for like months. And so I would, whenever I was going to sleep, take a running like start at my bed and jump so that like even if somebody was under there, you wouldn't be able to grab me. Like I would have already been like, a couple feet off the ground.
And
It
how
didn't
old were
make
you when
sense.
you were doing this?
Like 27 or something. Um, I mean, I would guess
And
like
yesterday, no.
yeah. No, I mean, Michelle, she helps me. She'll like throw me sometimes, so it does help with the leap. No, I want to say I was like 12 or something. Like it was, yeah. Again, and it's also like there's some void of logic where it's like even if I successfully escaped like via the jump, like the thing is still under the bed. Like why wouldn't you just like be like, all right, well now I'm double gonna kill you.
Why would you even get in the bed if you thought something was under there? And
I
go
don't
in
know.
another
It's the same
room.
reason you put a cover over your head. It's not going to help you. It's not going to save you from whatever's coming. But for some reason, it's a shield. There's no logic. But yeah, that was always my defense mechanism after seeing that terrifying movie that I don't even remember the name of.
Where can we see Hereditary?
I saw it in movie theaters, which like also is like because it's one thing if you see it on like a TV, like where you can kind of like pause it, mute it, walk away, whatever. Movie theater, you're in it to win it.
Yeah, I have to Google where to watch it. Hopefully, I can get
Oh, like now. I don't know. I don't know what I'm sure it's on something.
Paramount or something like that.
Yeah. It's definitely on some streaming platform, I'm sure. But yeah, it's real good. It's real messed up, but real good.
Well,
Do you have
I think we reach.
Yeah, well, we could talk for hours though.
I was gonna say, I was like, what oh, David, you're here.
He's still here.
Well, here's the thing. I'm gonna be the bad guy.
Yeah.
Because for everybody's sake, and say, listen, if you want to talk longer, that's fine. But some of us have hard outs. Just saying, I'm the bad guy, and I'm gonna say we have hard outs, but I really don't. But I'm gonna say I have a hard out so that everybody can feel comfortable with this call.
Well, Teo, thank you so much. You're a sweetheart. We hope to see you soon.
Yes, I would love that. Hopefully, it's at the camp. That's always, the best experience and getting to see everybody there. But
we'll come harass you again for the podcast.
Please, I love being harassed by you guys. It's always a pleasure to get to see you all and participate in any way I can. So yeah. And again, thank you so much for all the work you do within the community and all the support you show to all these kind of great causes. It's really cool to just in any way play a part in it, and it would be impossible for me to do any of that if it wasn't for folks like you doing really cool.
And I would love to see you again. So
the feeling is mutual.
Tell your fiance we said hello.
Of course.
Watch some more scary movies.
All right, yeah, I'll slowly but surely. I'll gotta watch some more. David, thank you for being a terrible, evil, awful guy. So appreciated.
Well, thank you for also meeting us halfway on this. We try to make it easier for everybody to participate, and not only you, but even the people who are generous enough to give money, like Carol for you, Barb, and obviously all the girls from Rausching. But yeah, I know it's like you said, it's an easy way for all of us to sort of meet again, quote unquote. But we're finding excuses in a positive direction, and I think that's really gives us joy. It's a lot of hard work, but it gives us joy, and I think I'm just glad that there's a willingness. That's really what it is, a willingness, and the more we can get on board, the better. And I think this was an eye-opening. Every charity thing that we throw is always a step in the right direction. And I think we did some good work here that we can take to the next one. And thank you for being a part of that, both of you.
Yeah. So, I just wanted to say thank you, Teo, for donating your time and being a part of the raffle. I appreciate it. I live here in Western North Carolina, so I see what's going on. And
yeah, of course.
Yeah. And we did we gave money to animal rescue and to the community fund. So it's getting better, but a lot of people still need help. It's going to be a long time. I just read an article where they said that the local chimney rock here, which was basically washed away completely, the entire town is gone.
Yeah.
They're saying that it's the town next to it, Lake Lure, probably won't even open this summer. And they're still right now in Chimney Rock. They're trying to move the river back into its original place so that they can rebuild the road. So there's still not even a road in there or anything yet. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. But every little bit helps, and I just want to thank you for being a part of it and donating your time.
Again, I mean, with all the work y'all do, it's the easiest thing in the world to say yes to. It's such a pleasure to in any way feel like it can be helpful, because you are all the ones who are doing the really really hard stuff. I just show up and Barb asks great questions. But as I said, it's most jobs, when they say cut, that's the last time I in any way really have connection to it in terms of like the community and any larger part. And for this to still feel connected to and to see it, as we were just saying, manifest in such good intentions is really something special. So I know we're just
once you're family, you're always family.
Appreciate
it.
I,
and sometimes we fight, but we're still family. No.
That's right. Well, I mean, isn't that what families do?
Oh yeah. Oh, if you're not doing something, I don't trust your family if you don't fight with them.
Yeah, exactly.
Weird about that one.
Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna actually stop the recording now. But I think Taylor, you know the drill. But when I stop the recording, I've paused your upload, so they're gonna start uploading now. All I need from you guys is you can actually leave whenever you want. Just I ask you